Hello, well today I'm going to be assembling the bags. I'm going to be gluing the side panels into position with lots and lots of clips and lots of glue. To get the shape of the sides right, I need to actually get the sides around to like 90-degree angle, and so I damp the leather and I use a bone folder, which in my case is just a wooden slicker but something to work the leather. Quite a lot of leather manipulation, lots and lots of clamps for gluing in this one. I hope you enjoyed. Let's get going. Well, I've got one of the side panels here and I'm just putting some water into the fold lines that I've carved out with a view to bending them inwards. So it's a little bit like doing belt tabs or doing the actual strap connectors on the bag. A little bit of water just softens up the leather and makes it far more pliable and less likely to crack. So I'll keep sort of filling this channel with water. The good thing about a channel is it fills up with water quite well. Makes it a bit easier. You can soak quite a bit in. Like this, it will dry out, but it just makes the actual leather more supple for the bending part of things. I've got two of them. So one is sort of soaking, you can set to work on the other one. You can obviously apply this with a sponge if you want to. But I find one of these little spray containers, they're quite good. And it will soak in quite quickly. Normally find 3 or 4 soakings will get this pretty good. If I didn't do this soaking with the water, there'd be a high chance the leather would crack and it wouldn't sort of hold its shape as well or as sharply. So the water is really just softening up the leather fibres, getting them to give and not split. I've done quite a bit of soaking now on this piece, so what I'm going to do is very slowly and gently just start bending. So just working along the edge and trying to raise it. You see that starting to take shape. Just coax it around and then I can give it another spray and it will soften it a bit more. It sort of opens out the fibres. It's already taking a sort of box section a bit more. It gets easier to pop the water in the groove as it opens out a little bit. And along on the end. So I'll let that soak in some more. And work on the other piece. Same idea. Just try and bend it all up slowly, bit by bit. What you want to try and get is a nice sharp, like 90-degree edge. Being realistic, I probably won't get that, but you can sort of try and get it as much like it as you can. So again, just coaxing it up at this stage. So this is giving us the nice shaped ends for the stitching. So again, I'll soak some more water into this one. Let's flood the channel and it will soak in. Doing that all round. And at the end. Let that soak in. Come back to the other one, give that another feed of water. And at the end, let that soak in. So again, just doing a bit more bending over of these ends. Trying to coax them to go into a right angle as much as possible. And I'll give them another soak in a minute. What one's doing is getting closer all the time to like a box end on these. Some more soaking and then another bend. It's not a bad idea to use a bit of wood or other sort of fairly smooth shaped object to just try and get this to sit. I mean, traditionally they used to use a bone folder, so I have got one in the house. It's made out of baleen from Wales. Wouldn't be allowed nowadays. I should probably be using it here, but I feel if I show you with a stick, it's quite a good way of just showing how it's done. So just run along with that, and then you'll try and bend it over and get a slightly more defined shape. You can use a variety of shaped sticks for this if you want. So I've got one which is a slicker stick here. And that helps get the angle, the nice sharp right angle that one's trying to get hold of, and also smooths the leather a bit more at the same time. Can you see the sort of bridge effect we're getting there? So I'm trying to get these box square ends, but I'm going to do a few more minutes work on that to try and get these a bit tighter and a bit more polished in. But that's the basic approach, and I will carry on. So I'm just going along with my slicker stick, just flattening and rounding and better defining that whole edge. And I think you can see it's quite effective. You really can sort of mould the leather. It's obviously quite damp as well now, which helps. That's what I want, a nice, clear, defined sort of seam. Again, I'm just folding the main bag body, so I've wet the crease lines and I'm just using my wooden bone folder, just to get a sharper definition on all of these fold lines. So you get more of a box-like, nice, neat effect. And it is amazing how if you work along, you can get quite a nice crisp 90-degree angle. It takes a little bit of patience, but it does make it look nice. And it's worth spending the time to try and get it as best as you can. So from the outside now I'm getting something a bit more like that. So I'll be doing some test fitting next of the ends, and you start to see a bit more of a sort of box construction coming together. Try and get a rough idea. It's all a bit floppy at this stage. So there you are, got a bit more work to do in terms of shaping all of this, but I think you get the idea. I'm just positioning everything in just to see if I've got it about right. So it's like a dry test fit. And I'm using some plastic pegs. Now these pegs I use for leather work quite a lot, and I think they're used by upholsterers. So they're little plastic pegs. They come in two sizes. You can get some smaller little ones as well. I quite like them. If you don't have these, don't worry, just use ordinary laundry pegs. It's just something, obviously you can't pin leather like you can fabric, so it's just a matter of having something to hold it while you work on it or glue it. And these are worth having. I find that because I do quite a lot of bags, I have quite a lot of these. There we are. They're quite effective for holding. So I'll carry on doing this dry assembly. Oops, pegs picking off where they shouldn't. And it just lets me confirm that I've got it correct before I start applying glue prior to stitching. I'm fairly pleased with this actually. It's a little bit temperamental at the bottom. But not too bad. That will need a little bit of manipulation down there. So here we are. This is the bag just at the moment dry assembled. Start to see the sort of shape and form of it. Obviously the top flap will need folding over, and I'll do that with a mixture of sort of damping and generally just manipulating with one's warm hands, and that will soon come over. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually glue up on these side seams and peg it, so then that will sort of hold it together, and for that I'll just use some ordinary Leathercraft cement as the glue. So it's like a white PVA type glue, but it's a little bit more flexible than standard PVA, and then I'll be able to do the stitching. So I've just put some Leathercraft cement on both sort of edges of the leather, and I'm now just pinching them together, working it in and going around with pegs to secure it all. Don't worry with the leather if you've got glue sort of seeping out onto the surface. That really doesn't matter because all your edges will get polished up. But it's important obviously to get everything lined up as best as you can. It takes a fair bit to actually manipulate some bits, but you want to try and get everything as level as you can. I haven't got this end piece quite to my liking, so go back, have another go. That's better. Pinch it in tight, put the little clips on. It's one of those things, you have to sort of work and keep working at it to get it so you're happy with its overall fit. So try and get it as close as you can, and then go back to it, have another little go, try and get it a bit closer, go back to have another little go, and you'll slowly one manages to ease everything in. So that's that side done. I'm quite pleased with that actually. It's going quite nice and sort of uniform. And I mean, don't lose heart too much, because you can obviously do quite a lot of correction when you come to doing the stitching, because one can persuade the leather with the stitches to a fair extent. But naturally the more one can get it lined at this stage as one wants it, the better. So I'll let that dry. I'll then do the other side, but I think I'd rather see that dry first. So I've just glued the top end here, and I'm now going to glue the other end. So just take all the clips off, a huge mass of clips. They do help hold it well. So there you are, that's the end fixed on. It's beginning to look like a bag a bit more now. Start to see its shape. So I'll glue the other end. I'm quite happy with that. So same idea, on its end, glue on both surfaces, shape it together a bit more with your hands, and then clamp it on with the clips. And just sort of work along slowly, and it does it. And then it will be ready for the stitching. The glue dries fairly quickly, so can't hang around too long, but there is time to sort of do a bit of positioning. And really the main thing about the glue is it's holding it all together where you want it, ready for the sewing. It's not really needed because once it's been sewn, it will be jolly strong. But it is a good method for just getting it into position and holding it there, a bit like tacking, I suppose. In terms of sewing, similar sort of thing. Well, this is now gluing up on the other side, so that side already done, this side gluing up. And so I think that's it for this part of the film, and the next film we'll do the stitching. So that'd be nice to get these sides firmly stitched on. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and bye bye.